Hey everybody, it's Brooke with the Buttered Home. Welcome to Messy Kitchen Monday. We're live here so far just about every Monday night, cooking and answering any cooking questions you have. Now, I can't always get to it while I'm cooking. I'm going to try tonight, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask during. But tonight, we are going to cook our take on the classic chicken casserole. Now bear with me, I've got a new kind of setup tonight because my kids, they hate filming for me. So I might be moving the camera around a little bit tonight, but this is our trial run tonight with the new camera setup. So, well, it's not a new camera, it's my phone, but we have a setup for it. So I want to talk to you just a little bit about chicken casserole. Everybody I know has a great recipe for chicken casserole. My mother mainly. And to keep from her skinning me alive, I'm not going to share her chicken casserole recipe. She's very proprietary, so we're going to save that one just for us. But anybody who's had Grand's chicken casserole knows that it's very good. So we're not trying to take away from that. We're just going to give you our spin on chicken casserole, and this is one that we like here. And it was actually inspired by Paula Deen's chicken casserole recipe, but we do things quite different. But it is comfort food times 10. It is macaroni and cheese and just slightly fried chicken in this wonderful bechamel sauce, which is just a white roux with cheese mixed in it. So you'll see a lot of classic ingredients for macaroni and cheese for this casserole, but y'all, it's so good. So without further ado, I'm just going to show you what we have for the chicken casserole, and I will try to go back in tonight and post the ingredients for it if you wanted to make it, because it's very, very good. So what I've done already is I have boiled 2 cups of pasta, and what I'm using is Radiator, I think, Radiator. I'm almost positive that I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it's these little wheels, and they have these little grooves in them. I hope you can see. They have these little grooves in them that actually will catch the sauce. So that's a really good, so I've got that pre-cooked already. And then we have about 3/4 of a pound of chicken that we diced into small bite-sized pieces. They almost look like Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets. And we season them with our special chicken seasoning, and I have posted that recipe earlier. I'll post it again as well tomorrow or either tonight, so you can just get that seasoning chicken for chicken recipe. And we dusted them lightly with a little flour, salt, and pepper, and then we just cooked them on the stovetop in our cast iron pan to where they had cooked all the way through. When you you cut it up to this size. It's really small, bite size. It doesn't take it long to cook, so it's really easy. And I know that with the pasta seems like a lot of prep work for a casserole, but that's what a casserole is. So it's all these different layers of different things all wrapped up in a nice sauce. So casseroles in the South are a big deal, and this time of year for football season and for church gatherings and family gatherings, any kind of casserole is a good casserole. So we're going to be focusing the next few weeks on casseroles because, well, we're the Buttered Home. So anyway, I've got my chicken, about 3/4 of a pound, already cooked. My pasta already cooked. And then for the sauce, which I'm going to show you tonight, I'm going to actually cook the sauce live, and we're going to put it all together and put it in the oven. Of course, I've already got one done so that I can show you. But for the sauce, it's just very basic. We have about 3 tablespoons of butter and about 2 tablespoons, maybe a little more, of flour. Those are your basics for your roux. Then to that, we're going to cook about 4 diced green onions and about 1.5 tablespoons of chopped garlic. Now, I don't chop garlic. I don't mind chopping onions, but I don't chop garlic. I cheat and I buy it in a big jar at Costco. So I have it on hand. All I have to do is dip it out with a spoon. So, of course, you've got your standard ground mustard. And we add a little smoked paprika to ours because it just kind of gives it a good warmth. And it's not regular paprika, it's smoked paprika or Hungarian paprika, and it is so good. It's just, most regular paprika doesn't have much taste, and this has a really good smoky flavor. You find this a lot in barbecue rubs, so you'll know it when you taste it. And we also add just a little bit of red pepper flakes for a little kick. And of course, our good old standby salt and pepper. Now, to make the sauce, we added an ingredient because normally you just have butter, flour, and milk, salt, pepper. But we actually are adding about 1/4 cup of sour cream just to make it a little thicker and a little heavier, because it's also, not only does it have to stick to the pasta, but it's also got to stick to the chicken. So this just gives it a little more oomph, as my friend Ray likes to say. And of course we have cheese, good old cheese. I've got 2 different kinds. I got sharp cheddar and I've got mozzarella. Pepper jack is really good too for this if you wanted to make it even spicier. So pepper jack is always a really good option. They just didn't have it in a small bag, so that's why we're not using it. So if you'll bear with me, I'm gonna get this camera moved and we're gonna get started. And I also have a greased baking dish, because when we get everything kind of mixed together, we're gonna put it in a dish and we're gonna put the cheese on top, or some of the cheese on top, and then we're gonna bake it. The first batch I actually did in my cast iron skillet and cooked it in the oven in my cast iron skillet. That's really nice because you can do everything in it and mix it up and just top the cheese, and it's already hot, and put it in the oven, and it kind of decreases the cook time. But if you're making this, you're going to cook it for about 30 minutes at 350 degrees. So now I'm going to move you and give you a panoramic view at the same time of the messy kitchen. Y'all bear with me. Oh! And I just knocked you upside the stove. I apologize if you got a little nostril action. Oh, I knew I would have some sort of technical difficulty. Sorry, guys. I adjusted the wrong button. All right, Tanner, how am I looking, babe?
Hang on. There's a lag. Look good.
Okay, so now you all can see my stove top. It's probably messy too. I'm gonna get some things moved so we'll have them at our fingertips. And you know, when you cook at home like this, it seems like there's an awful lot of stuff you gotta have, and there is, but it's worth it. I promise it's worth it. Tanner, we're still looking good?
Yes.
All right, so I've got the heat on medium to high, and I'm just gonna put my butter in so that it can be melting. And that shouldn't take very long. Maybe we'll turn it up just a little bit. Get our pan good and hot. So like I said, this is about 3 tablespoons of butter, and you're just gonna melt it on the stove top. This is the start of anything really good because it's a white roux. And you know, back when we first started Messy Kitchen Monday, a white roux is one of the first things that we did. And I hope that all of you who watch that now know that it's really easy. And you know, there's just no need to do anything else, even for macaroni and cheese or soups. You know, the white roux or a bechamel sauce is a good base for anything. Be sure if you're here to give us a wave and let us know that you're watching live with us. Tell us where you're watching from. And if you have any questions, ask them. Tanner's going to try to moderate my questions for me, but if not, we will get to them as soon as we are done. So our butter's nice and melty, so I'm going to add the onions. And we're just going to cook those a little bit. Now, you don't have to use green onions. It's just with any kind of chicken casserole, one of the biggest complaints that I have is that it's all white. Now, I love all white. There's nothing wrong with all white. But I love for my food to be colorful. So, this green onion, which I'm really fond of, just like red onion, gives it a lot of color and a good punch in there and it's also not a very oniony flavor. The green onion has a really mild, subtle flavor. So if you're not a big onion fan, then I would suggest going with the green onion. All right. So just like with any other casserole, you know, a good chef gives good, accurate measurements, and I don't guess I'm a good chef because when I tell you about salt and pepper, I tell you to add it in layers and add it to taste because everybody's taste is different. But whenever you're cooking like this, you just want to be sure that you add salt and pepper in layers because things like potatoes and pasta, starchy foods, you know, they will soak up a lot of the salt, so they don't need quite as much. But there are other things that may need it. And one of the things that salt does to onions is it tends to sweat them out a little quicker so that they get a little more translucent and cooked a little faster. Alright, so we've cooked our onions a little bit. They're good and soft. I can feel them. Now this is the only tricky part of this is when you add your garlic. Garlic is great unless you burn it. You don't want to burn it. So naturally you don't want to cook it for very long. But like anything else, when you're cooking garlic and onions, the best way to tell if they're done when you're cooking them on the stovetop is by the smell. The smell is what will tell you that they are ready. It'll also tell you if they're burnt. So we've cooked that garlic just a little bit. And don't worry, because it's all going in the oven, so it doesn't have to be fully cooked, but we've released the oils of the garlic, and that's what you want because that gives you the aroma and it kind of perfumes the food. Now,
Stacy asked if the jarred garlic tastes like fresh garlic.
It does, actually. It tastes very much so like fresh garlic, Stacy, and it keeps for a very long time in the refrigerator and it works good. It's actually packed in olive oil, I believe, so you kind of get a little extra. I have to kind of strain mine out just a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to enter in our flour slowly. And the reason why we put it in slowly is because we don't want to put too much. You can always put more, you can't always take out. So we've got the flour in, and that 2 tablespoons was plenty. And now you're going to let this cook for just about a minute. The reason why you want to cook it for about a minute is because you don't want your sauce to taste like flour. You just want the flour in there as a thickening agent. So just spread it around in the pan. Make sure it cooks for a good little hot minute. Alright, I'm going to let that sit for just a second. And I'm going to add just a touch more salt, a touch more pepper, and about a teaspoon of ground mustard, and just a good little shake of red pepper flakes, just enough to give it a little kick. We're going to stir that up. And you know, the ground mustard is a traditional ingredient for macaroni and cheese. Don't ask me what it does, but if you live in the South, you've got to have ground mustard in your macaroni and cheese. It gives it a little twang, just like we have a twang. All right, at this point, I'm going to add in the sour cream, and it is about 1/4 cup. Let me get my smaller spoon. Tanner, we still looking good, baby?
It looks good.
Sorry, y'all. We're trying this new thing tonight, so. All right, now we got that sour cream in there. And I got about 3/4 of a cup of milk. See how everything's kind of pulling together? That's the flour. So I'm just going to drizzle the milk in. All right, and you notice that it kind of stopped cooking. Now, see how quickly that got thick? At this point, I turn the heat off because that's as thick as I want it.
And it smells amazing.
All right, now I've got our cheese, and I know this looks like a lot of cheese, but this is all the cheese for the whole dish. So right now I'm going to add about half of each of these cheeses because this is the cheese sauce. And then I'm going to add in the chicken. And then we're going to slowly add in the pasta. Oh, and I'm just getting it everywhere. Good old traditional messy kitchen. Now you just want to fold, and this is a bad way to show folding because I'm doing it with a much too small spoon, but you just want to get everything good and coated. And y'all, this regular recipe, this is half of the regular recipe. So it makes two big pans. So this would be a good freezer meal. You could cook the whole recipe and put one pan up in the freezer and put the other pan out for dinner. So this is one of those good, you know, make a meal and get 2 meals out of it. Or make a meal and give one away. I tried my best to get people to come eat tonight, but you know, busy. Monday night's a bad time. All right, so we got it all good and mixed up. And at this point, we just want to take it and put it into our greased casserole as we make a mess. And this dish may not be big enough. But that's all right. So you got 2 great things in one here. You got a macaroni and cheese and you got a chicken casserole. I mean, I don't know how you could beat that. Now we take the remainder of the cheese and we just spread it on top.
Amy asked if you can freeze the pasta once you cook it.
You sure can.
And Michael Hatton said, I'll come by and get the other half of the recipe.
Oh, come on. He shouldn't eat Mexican. He could have been eating this tonight. So we've got our cheese put on there. And then you just pop this into that 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes until the top has browned and it's all nice and bubbly. And I'm going to move it so you can see what a mess I made that I'll have to clean up when we're done. And then I'm going to show you the finished product. Here we go. There it is, all brown and yummy. And Taylor, get us a plate. I'm going to scoop some out. Sorry, the delay. That's the one thing I forgot was a plate.
Plate or bowl?
Either one. That's fine. So you have this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful layered chicken and macaroni and cheese. So this is our take on the chicken casserole. And y'all, it's beautiful. You've got just layers of cheese and macaroni in there. Now, this is not a healthy dish. We never claimed it would be, but this is a great dish. And Tanner, you can tell Reagan. Reagan can get in here. Reagan was whining about being hungry. She's sick, so she wanted the first serving. So she gets the first serving. And I'm going to move you again. So bear with me. Hey, also give me a comment on the new camera setup. Have I just made you all drunk moving you around? I hope not. So that is the Buttered Homes take on our chicken casserole. And it's a good combination of both chicken casserole and macaroni and cheese. And come on. Tanner's standing there with a bowl. So we hope you like it. We hope you'll try it. I will post the the recipe in the comments as soon as we're done. And if you have any questions, if you don't ask them now, you're welcome to shoot me a private message later. How is it, Reagan?
Amazing.
Amazing. So anyway, we thank y'all all for being here tonight and sticking with us and staying with us. And we hope you've enjoyed this recipe. Look tomorrow. I've got another really good fall comfort food recipe posted on the blog tomorrow. It is for butternut squash soup with bacon, spinach, and white beans. And it was amazing. I mean, I made a whole 6-quart pot of it and it is gone. So we all love fall, and fall is one of our favorite times of year, even though it was like 90 degrees today. We are hoping for cooler weather, so we're going to be focusing on cooler weather comfort foods here in the next few weeks. And if you have any requests, send them to me. We'll see what we can do. We got things planned for a few weeks, but we'll try to get to them and try to fulfill your request as soon as we can. We're very close to 1,500 likes, so be sure you share our page, because I still have to give away the set of cutting mats and the bench scraper. And I'd love to do that soon. I love giving stuff away. Try to give food away, but can't get anybody to come eat. Anyhow, what'd you say, Tanner?
Rayan.
Oh, she name dropped Rayan. Anyhow, anywho, that's for you, Rayan. We thank you all for joining us. I know I've repeated myself about 10,000 times, but we hope you've enjoyed it, and I know these two girls are enjoying their chicken casserole. So we hope you'll join us again next week. I think we'll be making one of Danny's favorites next week called Mary and Joe's Special. Again, this is the Buttered Homes take on chicken casserole. It was inspired by Paula Dean's recipe, and I will post it in the comments, or either a graphic all its own on the page later. We thank you for joining us, and we will see y'all later. Bye.